Hey, it's Kim, and I have Julia here. And Julia is a prior client of mine. We worked together about a year ago, and I wanted to bring her on board because she's amazing. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
And this interview is really about online dating and how Julia went from hardly having any dates to actually dating about three quality men within 2 weeks, and then a month later having a boyfriend. And we're going to talk about what it took, and so that you can also start, have your funnel of three quality men, and you get to choose the man that you want to have as a boyfriend. So Julia, so tell me, well, first of all, I'll give a little background. So Julia and I worked for a couple months, and we had uncovered a lot of inner blocks, and we were still looking at, okay, for Julia to start to being more in action with online dating. So I presented a challenge to her. I said, I want you to contact 10 men per day. And she had to email me every day to tell me, okay, I contacted 10 men per day. So Julia, tell me what your experience was with that.
Well, at first, it was completely overwhelming. The idea of contacting so many men every single day, I just remember feeling exhausted and not really believing in it. But I
Uh-huh.
did it because I was desperate to get different results, and what I had been doing previously wasn't working. And I knew that this was kind of a last-ditch effort, and I, going through it, I realized that I really needed someone to hold me accountable for that. Because if I hadn't had that requirement of contacting you every day to let you know that I had taken those actions, I would have been skipping days or doing half of those contacts each day. It felt like a slow process at first because I was contacting men that I thought for sure were not right for me.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of it, after I had done this for a while, I started to see that I didn't have enough information to prejudge them. And that was kind of what you had said previously. I didn't understand that or believe that until on the flip side, and I met some of these men in person, and I noticed that their profiles really weren't that robust to be able to say that they were great or not. And so it really was just a matter of a numbers game.
So you were number one, you were in action, even though
Hmm.
you didn't feel like it at times, you still were in action. Um,
Yes.
and we're not saying you have to do 10 a day, but even if you did three a day would be great. But if you wanted to ramp up your results, like, hey, no kidding, you want to start dating some great men in 3 weeks and then possibly have a boyfriend in a couple months. I mean,
Hmm.
it's part of it is a numbers game. Part of it is, of course, a mindset. And so one of the other things too, Julia, she's saying too, is that, I had to start to be a little bit more open. You
Hmm.
can't just, there is certain things to look in a profile
Hmm.
to determine, there's, of course, if you want to have kids, you want to make sure that you are choosing men that want to have kids. There's like these top level things, but
Hmm.
you don't know somebody technically until you actually meet them. So you do have to have some more openness.
That's definitely true because when I first met my boyfriend, he was really nerdy and someone that I previously wouldn't have given a second chance.
Uh-huh.
Definitely, I would not have. And the only reason that I agreed to go on a second and third date with him was because I was listening to the voice inside my head that was you telling me, well, you don't know yet, just get to know him, listen, be open, kind of be gentle. And as a result, I mean, we've been together for 7 months. So obviously that really paid off. So I just would,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing too, and what the other thing too is we had worked on some stuff prior to in really opening your heart, letting
Hmm.
go of those barriers and having, yeah, more open heart, more open possibilities, because that's part of it too. That's what we're talking about, the mindset. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times we could have a good guy right in front of us and we sabotage it because we are closed off because we've had fears of of getting hurt again, so we're
Hmm.
not open. So you were open,
Hmm.
you were in action, you had strategy, and in 2 weeks you start to date you had a couple men in we call the man funnel. You had like 3 quality men.
Yes. And I actually think that working with a coach or a love mentor, I
Uh-huh.
think that that exercise got me in the right mindset of surrendering and listening and following your lead, which then translated into my relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. You were definitely, you took it on. You were coachable. You were open to trying new things, doing things differently because again, you weren't getting the results. But, and I know, it was sometimes probably tough to send 10 emails. I mean, how long did it take you to send 10 emails a day?
At first, it took probably an hour and a half. And after I started practicing it, I got it down to even, 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. In the beginning, as you're doing it, writing these emails, because you do have to write them in a certain way to attract a certain guy,
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, it's starting to get easier.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that's fairly exciting. So thank you so much, Julia, for sharing this, giving hope and inspiration. This is why I wanted to put this video out. It's, you're not alone in out there online dating, and I know it can be frustrating, but, maybe even, get an accountability buddy, get a coach to help you guide you through, so you can get better results online and have that forever love. So thank you, Julie. I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to do this.
Thank you so much.